Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another episode of ReaperCast. Today is something that is going to be very interesting. This is very big news and I figure I might actually need the entire video just to talk about this one significant event that's actually been announced here. Well, not event, but rather we are getting two structure decks. Yes, two Egyptian god structure decks actually. This is really awesome because we have here Slifer the Sky Dragon and Obelisk the Tormentor. Now of course these absolutely just stunning, just amazing. Already loving the actual artwork of the boxes themselves. They look great. We have one for Slifer in all red, and then we have another one for Obelisk where it's themed with a blue color to it, so it's definitely very nice. And these are literally just called the Egyptian god decks, and it just seems interesting because both these decks will pretty much be released at the same time, I believe, and this is just really awesome. So basically the whole idea behind this is that they wanted to actually make Slifer and Obelisk actual decks itself, you know, actual viable decks on its own, because recently we got Rage of Ra, and Rage of Ra actually gave us support for the Winged Dragon of Ra. So because of that, it kind of felt unfair that the Winged Dragon of Ra was getting all this attention while Slifer and Obelisk were kind of put behind. But in this particular case, the fact that Slifer and Obelisk are actually getting their own structure decks is definitely very amazing. Hopefully they could actually keep up and become as good as the Winged Dragon of Ra, given all the current support that the Winged Dragon of Ra actually has. But with that being said, these are structure decks after all, so I will expect some kind of good boost to them. So basically what they say here is that Ra is essentially feeling lonely, and you have the power of the Egyptian god cards now in Slifer and Obelisk as well. So with Slifer the Sky Dragon, I'm basically just going to read everything here. Slifer powers up by depending on how many cards you actually have in your hand. So this deck uses token generating effects to help you gather the 3 required tributes while using fewer cards from your hand. After you have Slifer on the field, power it up with cards that let you draw more cards, like the brand new Thunder Force attack. Based on Slifer's signature attack, this spell can destroy all opponent's face-up monsters at any time. And if you use it during your opponent's main phase, you can draw a card for each monster destroyed as well. So that's definitely very awesome, of course. It's a new spell support card for Slifer, and the fact that we're already getting a hint on its actual effect is definitely wonderful. So this is something that is looking to be quite great because it is obviously going to be following up, or at least enhancing, Slifer's current effect on the actual game itself. So if you could get more cards like this, then this will definitely be great, because we want something that's really fast, and this card is kind of fast because it does say you can destroy your opponent's monsters at any time, so it's potentially a quick effect. And the fact that it's also a spell as well means it is going to be faster than a trap card. So yeah, I definitely am liking where it's going at this particular point. So next we have Obelisk the Tormentor. So unleash the true power of Obelisk the Tormentor by tributing 2 monsters you control and wipe your opponent's monsters off the field. Now that does seem weird that you have to tribute only 2 monsters instead of 3, but maybe it's a typo, maybe it's a new effect that actually makes it easier. This deck uses self-replicating monsters to provide tributes and protect your life points as you get closer to drawing your divine beasts. Okay, so that's definitely very interesting. There is some kind of strategy behind this particular one. Obelisk's own ability can crush your opponent's monsters all at once, but throw in the new spell card, Fist of Fate, and you can negate a monster's effect and destroy it without needing to tribute. That's definitely very interesting. I mean, yeah, it is great because it's kind of hinting towards Obelisk's original power, at least in the anime that is, or even Slifer's one as well. Both of them kind of hint towards their original attacks, and it does make it quite interesting. Activate during your own main phase, and you can crush all your opponent's spells and traps as well. Alright, so that's fantastic. Again, that's kind of following up on Obelisk's effect, because Obelisk can not destroy, but he is kind of immune to spells and traps during the anime or within the anime, so it does make things quite, well, it does make sense at least for Obelisk to actually get a support card like this. So basically each Egyptian God card deck has 40 cards total and also includes 1 Egyptian God card and 5 new cards. So you guys heard it right here that firstly we have the 2 new cards which are both spells, so that means we have 4 more other cards as well. Hold on a second, let me just read on and finish this off. So it says 4 unique new cards as well as 1 copy of Soul Crossing. Okay, so a bit different there. A brand new quick play spell card included in both decks that let you tribute summon your Egyptian God card by tributing your opponent's monsters. Definitely very amazing. Kind of reminds me of Lair of Darkness, I think, where you could actually just use your opponent's monsters as tribute. So I could see some kind of reprints for the Lair of Darkness stuff in here, although it seems to be quite recent since Lair of Darkness actually came out not too long ago. I don't know, I mean, it might actually get reprinted as commons in this particular structure decks, or these 2 particular structure decks. So it does make me think, is that really a good decision? It kind of devalues the Lair of Darkness structure deck from a long time ago. Well, not even that long ago, I mean like 1 or 2 years ago. So I don't know, I don't really know how to feel about that, but it does suit the theme of the actual Egyptian God decks, of course. Now of course each deck is also playable on its own out of the box and comes with a dueling guide that explains the basic strategy and some rules you should know to get the most out of your deck. Of course, if you pick up both, you could actually mix and match their strategies to create an awesome deck that can wield multiple Egyptian God cards. So that could be interesting. You could merge them into one, just like the Sacred Beast deck. And thing is this, the Sacred Beast deck could actually also be split up into their own separate kinds as well. So you could build a separate Raviel deck, a separate Hamon deck, and a separate Uriah deck, but in this case you could build a separate Slifer, Obelisk and Ra deck, but at the same time you could also combine them, which does make it quite promising. It makes it quite amazing, adds a lot of variety to it, and this is just overall very fun, and I'm definitely quite excited about this. So it is set to release on OTS stores on 6/9/2021. Now, I don't know if this is actually following American dates or if it's following the rest of the world's dates, because is it actually the 6th of September 2021 or is it meant to be June the 9th 2021? I don't know which one it is because of the fact that, you know, this is why the world actually has to use the same dates, because to my knowledge, the US actually uses the month before the day and then the year, whereas the rest of the world pretty much uses the day, month and year, and this does make it quite confusing. So I am not entirely sure when this actually will come out. I am assuming it's going to be September, because if it comes out in June, that does seem to be quite, well, really quick actually. So yeah, we'll definitely have to find out about that later on. But basically inside you get 4 ultra rares, 4 super rares, 32 commons and 1 deluxe game mat and dueling guide, which we don't really care about because it's basically just paper. But yeah, having everything else there is definitely going to be quite great. I am actually expecting like some sort of tokens in this because we are going to be tribute summoning. It's absolutely amazing. This is just really fun and I'm just really excited, you know. The fact that we now have decks for all the Egyptian gods, whether it's singular or if we're combining it into one big hybrid deck, that is definitely quite wonderful. And we also have the Sacred Beast deck as well, which is also fantastic. In the past we did actually get the legendary hero decks, where we actually got the Nordic decks as well, which is definitely very nice. You could also build the Nordic decks into their separate kinds as well, so you could actually build one for the Azer, you could build one for the Nordic Beasts, or you could build one for the Nordic Alphas as well, which is definitely very nice. And of course you have your own hybrid variant where you actually combine all 3 into one, where you actually combine one into a hybrid Nordic deck, which is again very nice, and they're technically the 3 god cards equivalent in 5D. So it does make me actually wonder, will Nordics actually get their own structure deck as well, or are the legendary hero decks actually enough for the Nordic deck to actually be as it is, you know, to at least compete on the same level as the Egyptian gods or the Sacred Beasts? Now of course, don't get me wrong, the Sacred Beasts are very strong. Although they might be one of those casual decks that no one's actually interested in, it can actually catch people off guard. So seeing that, I actually kind of have a little high expectations for the Egyptian God decks, but of course we pretty much just have to wait and see what they actually have. But of course, quickly here, I also wanted to talk about King's Court. King's Court is essentially a new set that's actually coming out. It's a 60 card booster, similar to Genesis Impact, where you are actually getting some new cards from the world premiere, where they basically can either play as themselves, or you could actually incorporate it into the Egyptian God cards as well, or the Egyptian God decks, which does make it quite interesting. So yeah, that is definitely going to be quite fun, and this seems to be a TCG exclusive as well, which I also kind of see that in the Egyptian God structure decks. I don't think they're actually OCG related, I think they're actually going to be TCG decks. Now it says here, within the set's contents, you're getting 60 cards, and you're getting 10 ultra rare cards, 15 super rare cards, and 35 rare cards. Now this is exactly like the Genesis Impact set, where you're also getting 15 cards here that could potentially be collector's rare. Now the problem with this is that a lot of people, including myself, did not really like Genesis Impact for the fact that its ratios are absolutely awful and you're better off just getting commons, well, singles, sorry. But yeah, in this particular case, I'm not looking forward to the actual pools of this particular set. So right off the bat, I might actually just buy singles for this particular set here. I don't like the way that they're actually printing out the sets for these particular special boxes, where it's now 10 ultras, 15 supers, 35 rares, and then it's only 3 ultras per box. It just makes it incredibly hard, and it's really short printed, really difficult for you to get your playset of the cards you actually need. It's not a great idea. I don't like this whatsoever, but I am excited for the cards that's actually coming out in the set itself. However, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed this particular video, and definitely let me know your ideas on all this as well. What do you guys actually think about these Egyptian God decks? What do you think about the potential of there being more God decks out there? You know, we already have the Sacred Beast deck, and we already have the Nordic decks, and now we're getting the Egyptian God decks as well. So what if there's a Zexor equivalent? What if there is a Pendulum equivalent? Well, you know, an Arc 5 equivalent, a Vrains equivalent. It does make things quite interesting, and I would be keen to actually get all of these in a structure deck form. It does make things very nice and adds a bit of nostalgia, but also more fun aspects to the game itself, rather than just focusing all the time on the competitive aspect. But of course, if you guys enjoyed this video, definitely drop a like, share this video, and of course subscribe for more videos just like this. I hope you all have a fantastic day. I'll see you next time.